All right, welcome back to Adobe Illustrator CC. In this tutorial, we're going to cover shapes. Let's have fun. All right, so we're going to create a new document by going File and then New. And I'm going to choose the tabloid size, and I'm going to choose the horizontal. You can choose the vertical if you like by clicking on this little icon here, but I'm going to choose horizontal. Click Create, and we're going to have a stage here that will open up in just a sec. I am going to go to Reset Essentials Workspace. And that's the workspace I'm going to be in right here. So if I click at the top here, there is Essentials Classic, but for this tutorial, I think the Essentials is just fine. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Shape tool, which is right here. It's the rectangular tool. It's the 5th tool down. If you hold the mouse on that tool, you'll see the tools hidden beneath it. What I'm going to do is go out to the tear out bar and click that. Now I can have access to all the tools and all the features for each one. So the first one is just basically a square or rectangle tool. So it can easily make rectangles very easily. And in here are the options in the properties tab here. So I could give it a different kind of color fill if I want. And then once I start drawing again, basically it'll remember those same properties. So any of these shapes here that I want to change, I have to click on the black arrow and select them, and then click in the appearance palette and change the fill to a different color. Okay. If I want to change the stroke properties, which is the outline here, that is right here. Right now it's at the black. If I change it to this magenta, for example, I could change the color there, and then I could click in here and change the actual point size, right? So basically that's how you do that. With the shape tool, if you hold the shift key while drawing out, you'll get a perfect square. So that's pretty nice. If you basically hold shift and alt, it'll kind of, or option on Mac, it'll kind of draw out a square from the center. When you draw out the shape, you'll see that you have access to these little circles on the corners. If you click on them and drag inwards, you essentially create rounded corners, which you can easily kind of bring back to more straight corners if you want on the fly. If you want to access just one of these, what you have to do is click on the black arrow to escape out, click out, and then click on one of these and just click on one of these little circles at a time. And basically you can round off just one instead of all four, right? So that's pretty cool. The other thing you can do is you can use the white arrow to select these two. So if you need to, or if you have the white arrow selected, you can grab those to do the same thing. The other tool is the Ellipse Tool. So the ellipse basically creates ellipses, and all you gotta do is click and drag, right? And you can see here, it remembers the same properties of the fill and stroke over here on the right. You also have the ability to drop the opacity, which makes the whole thing sort of transparent. You can see here that it didn't remember the last property, but if I drop it down now, you can see as it overlays on the other shape here, you can see through it a little bit. If you do want to have a perfect circle, you hold the shift key and you get a perfect circle. And again, if you hold shift and alt or shift and option, you get a circle from the center there, drawing out. Polygon tool is the next tool for the shapes. And if you hold shift, you basically maintain its 6 sides and straight on sort of effect. So if I draw it out, you can see it's just kind of going everywhere. Okay. As I draw it out though, and I don't release the mouse, if I hit the up arrow, that's the up arrow on your keyboard, you'll essentially add more edges to this. If you hit the down arrow, you reduce the amount of edges. So you can go down to a simple triangle, for example. And then if you hold shift, you can kind of frame it up. The star tool is the next tool. As I draw it out, you can see a five-sided star. And if I hold shift, okay, now maintain that sort of perfect evenness. As I draw it out, if I again hit the up arrow without releasing it, it'll add more points to the star. And then if I hit the down arrow, it'll subtract the points to the star. And I can go down again to a triangle here. Now with 4 sides here, you can see here with this 4-sided star, I can hold the control key, and what I can do is extend out those points by dragging. So I'm holding control and left clicking with the mouse to drag out as I'm drawing it. it'll remember that last sort of shape that I've drawn there. Now, as I draw it out, if I hold Control and go inwards instead of out, so drag to the left instead of the right, I can kind of round off those stars. And if I invert it completely, you can see it's going more polygon-like. Basically, that's how you can kind of soften the edges there of those stars and get this kind of effect. And Control and Alt, it's just basically doing it from the center there as I draw it out. And then you finally have the line segment tool, which simply draws out straight lines. So that's basically all the shapes. You have the hotkey of M and L designated for the rectangular tool and the ellipse tool. And yeah, those are the shape tools in a nutshell. Until next time, see you soon.